Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this X Space. I am Chesirita Achola, and I'll be moderating this space on menstrual health. And today, one of the first episodes on the series is the influence of social and cultural norms on menstrual health. And I can see my speakers are ready. That is Mariana Kayaga and Lee Moroni. Well, so we all know that adolescent girls mostly face psychological and physical problems managing menstruation, particularly in low-income countries. And menstrual health is mainly defined by the World Health Organization as the complete physical, mental, and social well-being in relation to the menstrual cycle. And mainly the challenges that are associated with menstrual hygiene management include lack of access to hygienic absorbents like pads, inadequate facilities to change, and that usually happens in schools, in the rural settings where the girls don't have any access to changing their menstrual sanitaries after they are full. Lack of separate toilets with doors, that is still in the rural settings where they do not have enough privacy or adequate privacy to change their pads during, let's say, lunch or any other time. It's an open space. And we also know that culturally restrictive menstrual management practices can lead to internalized menstrual stigma. And such experiences bring about shame, distress, and lack of confidence around menstruation. And the challenge of managing menstruation is one thing that affects girls and young women in the rural settings, because everything to do with menstruation is part of the reproductive system, and it's a reproductive health issue that affects mainly young girls and women in the rural setting. So with me this evening is a panel that has two speakers, and I'll be asking them a few questions on menstrual health, and that is Mariana Kayaga and Lee Moroni. Mariana is the youth president for the YAC, and Ronnie is part of the YAC. Limo, please accept the invite to speak. So I'll start with Miss Mariana. And we all know that menstrual stigma is a pervasive issue in many parts of the world, including Uganda. What do you think are some of the ways in which to fight menstrual stigma in Uganda? Over to you, Mariana.
Hello, good evening. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Just to reintroduce myself, my name is Mariana Kayaga. I am the Youth Advisory Committee President, and I am happy to be here. So just to respond to the question asked by Tracy, how can we, if I had it right, it's how can we fight menstrual stigma, right? Among young girls and women, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, we know that the stigma is there, but I think we need to use a multifaceted approach, which could involve education, access to various reading materials, resources, community engagements, where we know that if we have access to education to these young girls that start their menses nowadays at the age of 10, education and awareness about menstrual health. This could be this education could be incorporated in the school curriculum, which could which can't be excluded to like only girls, but we have to involve the boys and girls, because when the boys get to know that this is something that happens to the girls, then we are able to combat the stigma that comes with menses that are happening to the girls. But we also know that we have to provide age appropriate sexual reproductive health education to address knowledge gaps and the challenges of the various social norms which come with some social norms which come with when a girl has started their menstrual cycle. It simply means that they are ripe to have a child, or they're ready to get married. So we could also the education could the education sessions in schools could help to break that gap, that knowledge gap that is within the girls and the boys. We could also look at uh, providing access to various resources. Yes, if information is not shared, like through, let's say, sensitization sessions, there could be reading materials that can easily be accessed, but also the availability of affordable and hygienic menstrual products to all girls, which include for those that can afford the disposable sanitary towels, but also those that can have easy access to the reusable sanitary towels to the various girls. This is not excluded to the girls that are deep down in rural areas, girls that live in hard to reach areas, girls that live in slum areas. We could make sure that all these resources um, uh, all these girls easily access these resources, and they are educated on how to on menstrual health, really, and on what to practice when you're in your menses. How often do you change a pad? How you, apart from giving access to the resources, we also need to ensure that there is clean water in the bathroom. So in all that, so as we provide these resources, as we provide the information, we are helping to break the stigma that comes with menstrual health or menstrual hygiene. But also, apart from that, we could encourage community engagements where we involve leaders, we involve parents, so that and the teachers, so that they create a supportive environment to have discussions about menstrual hygiene and menstrual health. This through these discussions, we still do away with the negative social norms. We still do away with the stigma surrounding menstruation through community-based initiatives. We could also conduct awareness campaigns, yeah, to be able to enable.
Mariana, we have lost you. All right, we lost Mariana. However, she mentioned something to do with involving leaders when it comes to ways in which we can fight menstrual stigma. And this brings me to my next question, because we all know that leaders play a very important role when it comes to community. Oh, Mariana is back.
Okay, please let me know where you lost me from so that I can. Yeah, I don't know the last point you guys had.
You were speaking about involving leaders when it comes to addressing menstrual stigma in Uganda generally.
Okay, yeah, I was in that regard. I was talking about community engagement. These community engagements could involve have engagements with leaders, having engagements with parents and teachers, so that we create a supportive environment for menstrual health discussions and practices. Through these engagements, it's much easier to do away with the negative social and cultural norms that create stigma surrounding menstrual health and menstrual hygiene. So through these engagements, yes, we still encourage open dialogue about menstruation to break silence and foster positive culture around menstrual health. This when we involve all these different actors, we are creating an enabling environment, a safe environment for girls. We are giving space to the community to understand the issues that are said to only affect women and girls, but we know that when we engage men, we are providing a safe environment to the girls. Yeah, Tracy, that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Mariana, for unpacking this whole menstrual stigma thing. However, you mentioned something that caught my attention, and that was in regard to involving the local leaders when it comes to fighting stigma, menstrual stigma among young girls and women from the different categories of people, because we know that even a fellow young girl or a fellow young woman can stigmatize you because of something to do with menstruation. And I would like to ask the next speaker, who is Limo Ronnie, that we all know that we come from communities that have religious and traditional leaders, and we know that they have a very important stake. They are persons that can influence us and influence our choices and influence almost each and everything that we do as a community. So how best do you think are some of the effective ways to engage with these religious and traditional leaders when it comes to menstrual hygiene and menstrual health in Uganda? Over to you, Limo.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy. Once again, my name is Lima Roni, the member of the Youth Advisory Committee from Reproductive Health Uganda. I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, sure.
Okay. One of the effective ways, I come from a closed community of the Bay sub-region with stingy cultural norms and practices. And one of the ways we can engage the religious and traditional leaders in this discussion of menstrual hygiene is one of it is education and awareness. And this we will provide a comprehensive education about menstrual hygiene to religious leaders and traditional leaders, while also emphasizing the importance of menstrual health, uh, while emphasizing on the importance of menstrual health to women's health and well-being. And by doing education and awareness, we are trying to
Limo, we lost you.
Hello, Tracy.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me now, eh? Okay, I was talking about inclusive dialogues while engaging the culture and the religious leaders. We need to have dialogues that are inclusive enough. We need to create platforms for open dialogues and exchange of ideas between health professionals, community members, religious leaders, traditional, to address the misconceptions and stigma surrounding menstruation. And by us engaging them in inclusive dialogues, we'll be able to have the open dialogues, and they'll be able to also air out this information in their religious institutions, since you know that religious leaders or cultural leaders play a big role in enlightening the community. The other one is we also need to have advocacy and support. We need to also advocate for policies and initiatives that support menstrual hygiene management.
Limo, we lost you once again.
Are you getting me, Tracy?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The other one, how we can engage them is we can engage them through role modeling. We can engage religious leaders and traditional leaders to serve as a positive role models by openly supporting and promoting menstrual hygiene practices within their communities. As you know that most people succumb to, if at all a religious leader or a traditional leader says something, you realize that the whole community is following it. By them being role models, we shall be able to cut the myth and misconceptions and discrimination around menstrual hygiene. We also need to provide these religious and cultural leaders with the training and training materials and resources, and even the ICE materials that have this information about menstrual hygiene so that they can be able to distribute to their masses. The other one, we also need to partner with them and collaborate with the religious institutions.
We lost Limo again. I think his network is poor, and I will think, Limo, I think you should get a place that is, I think, stable and stay in that particular place. So for now, let us continue. He was speaking about the stingy ways and practices of the Sebe and how rigid they are when it comes to things of menstrual hygiene and menstrual health. And in Uganda, in most of our cultures, menstruation is considered as a taboo. And I know that we all come from different spaces and different, where we have different norms and practices. And this could affect a particular girl or or different girls at different intervals, because whatever we hear about menstruation is considered a taboo amongst other people. So, Miss Mariana, what are some of the myths that have affected young girls that are menstruating? Mariana?
Hi, Tracy. Um, so just like I mentioned at first, some of the myths that affect the myths and misconceptions that are affecting young girls in Uganda, like I mentioned earlier, that menstruation is an indication of readiness to marriage or to have sex. Yet we know that this is part of the bodily changes. For those who recall your, was it Form 2 biology class, where they were or even primary, I guess, where they taught us about puberty. It does not necessarily mean that yes, I'm having these body changes and now I'm ready to have to engage in sexual activities or even get married to some man. It simply means that your body is growing, but sadly enough, just like Limo mentioned, some of our cultural institutions relate this or tag this to a girl being ready to be married, to be tagged with some sort of bride price, and this out of these misconceptions and myths lead to early child marriages or um, forced marriages, which also lead to girls having early pregnancies. And for the cultural leaders, if there is anyone listening that is a cultural leader or a religious leader or a community gatekeeper, I do not think that when a girl has received her first menses, it does not mean that she is ready for marriage or sex. They are not. That does not mean that the girl has the mental stability, the emotional stability, the even the physical maturity to be part of anything, sex or marriage at that. And the second point could be, most people think that menstruation limits women's abilities to um, to engage in certain activities. And now we live in the modern day world where women not only use pads, women use tampons, women use a lot of commodities or resources to during their menses. So it does not mean that when a girl is in her menses, she cannot be active in class, she cannot swim, she cannot play volleyball or something. It simply means that yes, that is happening at that time of the month, which is going to take say 3 to 4 days, depending on someone's cycle. But that does not mean that when a girl is in her menses, she should stop engaging in any co-curricular activity or engaging in anything that makes her life productive. And then lastly, most people believe that menstruation is a sign of impurity. So this takes me back to some stories I hear when I'm in the community. That when young boys of say 8 to 10 years and going up, when they see a girl that has maybe stained her dress, they're like, ew, look at you. You look so dirty. You look so, that's still the stigma that comes with menses to young girls, or to young girls living in communities where these boys are not aware of what is happening to the other gender. So they look at it as, you are dirty, you are disgusting when you're near menses. So those Tracy, those are some of the myths and misconceptions that come with menstruation. Please let me know if I hear you. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And your your point brings me to the issue of discrimination. All these myths that come around menstruation, all these things that women are always talking about and about menstruation. I remember at a particular point in time, I had someone say they do not eat food that has been prepared by a woman who is menstruating. And that brings me to the point of discrimination, because we know that many women and young girls face discrimination and shame for something that is a natural body function. So
Yeah.
I'd like to invite Limo to speak about some of the ways to support menstruating individuals who are facing discrimination.
Thank you so much, Tracy. I lost my network along the way. It's a bit pouring in Captura. The rain is a bit much, but I hope you can get me loud and clear now. Tracy, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Then the other question you've asked: how best can menstruating girls and women be supported when faced with discrimination? And one of it is actually providing access to menstrual hygiene products. You've heard, as Mariana said, that men are the ones who perpetuate discrimination against women and girls during menstruation, usually. But if we provide access to these menstrual hygiene products as men or as a community, we ensure that girls and women get access.
Limo is really facing network issues, but I'd like to pose the same question to Miss Mariana. How would menstruating girls be supported in the face of discrimination?
Tracy, please re-echo the question.
Lima was speaking about how to combat discrimination when it comes to menstruating girls, because you earlier mentioned that there are so many taboos and myths that menstruating girls face, and that could lead us to discrimination. So how best do you think they can be supported in the face of discrimination?
Okay, so how can we best support menstruating girls and women faced by discrimination? Like when I answered the first question, I mentioned that we need to use a multifaceted approach, which is crucial in engaging stakeholders, because we know that yes, these stakeholders are the holders of our policies, and some of them are our community gatekeepers. So it is important to have education and awareness. We have to educate girls about menstruation early and accurately display the myths and misconceptions, so that to reduce stigma. But this does not only mean that we only have to engage the girls, we still have to engage the boys, so that the boys know from a very young age that yes, my sister, my mom, my aunt, my neighbor in class who's a girl, my neighbor at home who's a girl goes through this. But if they're going through this, I do not necessarily have to point out that you are going in your messes and you're disgusting and that's a bad thing and you're impure. No, we have to let them know that this is something that is happening to the girls. It's part of their lives, and of course there is nothing they can do about it. So giving young boys and young girls age appropriate information, and giving them teaching materials to prepare the girls, yes, for menstruation, but to engage the boys in menstrual hygiene education, to challenge the harmful cultural attitudes. But also, like I mentioned, we also have to encourage community engagement. I know that very many organizations work in communities. They can provide support to promote menstrual hygiene. Support could be through distribution of reusable pads, giving these different young girls the skills on how to make reusable sanitary towels, giving them different reading materials, um, giving them the reading materials as well as the raw materials on how to make the pads. The reusable sanitary towels can help reduce discrimination. And in this teaching, we don't say that we are going to only involve the girls. We have to put the boys in this training, so that they equally learn. They can know that, oh, I can make this reusable pad for my sister and take it home, and making that pad does not reduce my manhood. It simply makes me a supportive brother, or it simply makes me a supportive neighbor, or it could mean very many things, yeah. But also, we have to encourage communities to engage, to dialogue about these issues, so that we break the taboos, we break the stigma surrounding menstruation, and support initiatives that promote education supplies. We also have to do a lot of advocacy to combat this discrimination, because well, women have been going through their menses since the 1800s, and there is discriminating them does not mean it's going to stop. We are living with it. Another woman is going to come up and they're living with it. So I guess it's about time that we learn how to live in the same environment together, but let's make that environment supportive for the women in times when they are facing their menses, yeah. But also we need to implement policies. Okay, this might be a hard one for maybe Uganda, where we could have menstrual leave, because I know that there are women that have very terrible, they have bad cramps, and there are women that when it's that time of the month, they are bedridden, they are on their drips. So if I am bedridden and you are my employer, how you do not expect me to come to work when I am on a drip drip that is helping me nurse this thing that is part of my life. Yeah. So I would also encourage employers to be very supportive to the women, to know that yes, this happens to the to this happens to women every 3 days of 6 days of their lives, and it won't hard to excuse me for that, for those 6 days, to put myself together, to nurse myself, to get the painkillers that I need to do away with this pain. I know that there are very many women out there that have testimonies of when I am on my period, it is so bad, I cannot eat, I cannot do this, my mood is off the roof, my mood is very bad. So we need to provide a supportive environment for women and girls. But also, to still combat this discrimination, we need to ensure that schools and health care facilities have menstrual health management and menstrual health management resources and facilities to make the girls included, so that when a girl is on her period at school, like during school time or during the term, she does not have to stay home because she doesn't have a pad, or because there is no clean water at school, I can't go to school, or because I fear that the boys are going to laugh at me, I am on my period, and that will make me miss, that only makes the girls miss school. And at the end of the day, that is when we see the news of this year, girls have the lowest marks and all. Yeah. Tracy, I hope I have responded to your question.
Yes, thank you very much, Mariana. And what I pick is that the advocacy arm, when it comes to advocating for menstrual hygiene of girls and young women and how best they can be supported when they are going through their menses, is a very important pick for me. And you also spoke about menstrual leave and if Uganda can adopt the same, because I know that our neighbors have adopted the same and they actually do grant menstrual leave to the women and young girls who have a hard time during that period. And it's a very important thing to say, and I would like to say that a number of government ministries and CSOs are really promoting the rights to menstrual health of girls and women through celebrating of international days, because we know that Menstrual Hygiene Day is on the 28th of this month. And this has been done through conducting research and promoting private or public sector partnerships. And our various organizations or our individual selves are also doing a lot when it comes to menstrual hygiene. And I would like to ask Limo what his community or organization is doing when it comes to the issue of menstrual health. Over to you, Limo.
Thank you again, Tracy. Network has really been disturbing me, but I hope you can now hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sure.
Okay. We have been actually encouraging open dialogues as an organization, and we have been involving the local and religious leaders in communities as an organization. And the other one that we have also been doing as an organization is to create groups in schools. That is the adolescent groups that we have formed in selected schools in remote areas of Kapchora, where there is a lot of discrimination around menstrual hygiene. And then the other one is we have also supported initiatives aimed at
Limo, we lost you again.
Hello, Tracy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
This network. Okay, what we have done is we have actually promoted awareness and understanding of menstrual health and it is importance as an organization. We have encouraged communities to have open dialogues, and we have also encouraged families to have open dialogues and normalize issues around menstrual hygiene, because people still look at menstruation as a taboo, and speaking about some of these issues about menstruation in Sebei sub-region is still categorized as information that should not be spoken about publicly. But as an organization, we have involved inclusive open dialogues and ensure that this information is shared freely within families. As an organization, we have also tried to use the men engage approach, passing information through the men that involve the girl child, but we also involve the boy child, because this information is really important for both sides, and even for men to understand the importance of menstruation and the health well-being of the women and girls. Then the other is we have formed groups in many schools. We have youth groups in many schools that we go there for mentorship programs and ensure that the information that is circulating within the school is accurate, is age appropriate, and we have also ensured that we come up with age appropriate information and prepare these girls and boys when they are still young, so that when their girls go for menstruation, it doesn't look like a surprise to them.
Limo, did we lose you or you are done?
I think the network had actually. And then the other is we have encouraged schools in remote areas, if they can improvise, and we have been also able to lobby and collaborate with other partners. As RHU, we have literally sampled some of the schools in Kwen district, like Kosir Girls, where we have partnered with AfriPads, and we have been able to distribute over 500 reusable pads a month ago to the remote girls. And we have also been able to train the boys on MHM, on menstrual hygiene management, so that they can be able to transfer the information to other male counterparts in communities. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you very much, Limo, and thank you for the work that you are doing when it comes to menstrual hygiene. And I'd like to invite Miss Mariana to speak about what her organization is doing in regards to menstrual hygiene.
Okay, thank you so much, Tracy. So, one of the things that Sehad is doing, of course, right now, everyone is on a space hosted by Sehad, talking about, with the hashtag Let's Talk Menses. Of course, Sehad is doing a lot of dialoguing with different people in the various communities that we work with. But also, I would like to mention that Sehad prioritizes the health of women. We have our resting place or resting area, which gives women a chance to take a nap or take a rest when um, um, it's that time of the month and you're feeling not so fine. There is that secluded area, but also we have a first aid kit that has the different menstrual hygiene or menstrual health materials. But aside from that, during our various community engagements, we take our young people or our community health advocates through these sessions. Even though we don't work in schools, we still talk to the young people who later take the information to the people that are home, the people that have not yet the people that haven't gotten a chance to be part of our trainings. So we teach them about menstrual health, we teach them about menstrual hygiene, and last year we were part of training a few young girls in a school in Kabarole how to make reusable sanitary towels. And after the training, we were also able to leave a few raw materials to the girls and their matrons, so that they can keep practicing, because teaching them in just 30 minutes is not enough. They need to keep practicing so that they perfect the way they can make the reusable pad. Aside from teaching them how to make the reusable pad, we also give them that information on how to stay clean during that time of the month, and how to keep themselves as girls generally. So yeah, that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And to add on to what you have said, we also know that SEHAD is doing the advocacy at national level under World Hunger, and they are particularly advocating for budget increase when it comes to menstrual hygiene management and the regulation of the price of sanitary towels. So that each and every girl can be able to afford sanitary towels if they do not access the reusable pads, because we know that the price of sanitary towels goes for about 4,000 to 10,000 shillings, and we are using the media to advocate for the same as well, just like we are doing now with our series of Let's Talk Menses. So I'd like to open this space to the listeners to add onto what they need to speak about the influence of social and cultural norms on menstrual health. Agri had requested to speak. If you're still in this space, please raise your hand. Also, as we wait for what the listeners have to say, this series of Let's Talk Menses is running from the 9th to the 30th of May, and that's each Thursday of this particular month. We shall be having different speakers from the Far East, that is Karamoja, Soroti, Moroto, and all those other places, who will be coming onto this space to speak about menstrual hygiene, Katakwi. So I'll implore all of us to please join these spaces from 5 to 6. It's for 1 hour. And yeah, we can learn a thing or two about menstrual hygiene and be able to teach our sisters, our friends, and also to combat the discrimination that comes with menstruation. Well, I can see Kifad and they are our partners under the Grow project. I would like to call upon them to speak about menstrual health and their experiences while handling this project, and what they have interfaced when it comes to menstrual hygiene management. Over to you, Kifad. Hope, you can now speak. I have enabled you to speak. Hope Vineyard.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening to everybody on this space. This is Godfred from Hope Vineyard Foundation, Uganda, that is in Zombo district. First and foremost, I want to thank the host and the co-host who have enabled us actually to have an insight or insights on this topic. Menstrual health is something of a concern in our society, more so in Zombo district, where we hail from. We have realized, actually we have noticed a lot of challenges regarding the menstrual health hygiene of the adolescent girls majorly, those who are school going, those who are teenage mothers, because of the poor socioeconomic background. Sometimes it's really hard for them to even afford. It is hard for them to afford these sanitary pads. So it really put a lot of tears and burdens on our heart as Hope Vineyard Foundation, given that we are also right now looking for partners to work with, to make sure that the integrity of the girls in Zombo district is restored again. This very challenge of little access to the menstrual health products due to the socioeconomic background of most of these girls of Zombo makes them sometimes to engage into transactional sex. You see that? Because they want to meet that need which parents are not able to, them. So this one has as well also contributed much to, to the increase in the rate of teenage pregnancy in the district. If mistaken, even the origin of West Nile. So I call all neighbors who are here, who can also stars and partners like our host, if you can hold our hands and work there, so that we don't hold our hands and just watch our hands messing up because they are not able to afford some of these products. If there are some partners like you, or maybe anybody who is listening, I know Zombo is in Uganda and we are all human. If we are all human, then we must show that humility by also supporting one another. It really makes our heart pains a lot. It makes our heart pains a lot as people of Zombo, especially Hope Vineyard Foundation, which happens to be one of the few let me say civil society organization in the district. So you get there's a lot of burden. Actually, at one point, I was moved to actually shed tears when some of the young girls narrated how they manage their menstrual period. Using handkerchiefs is supposed to be used for blowing the nose, toilet papers. So that one really ails my heart a lot. But then there's hope. there is hope because we are able to raise our voices on social media, and then maybe partners will come in, friends will work with us, and you never know, one day, this will end, but it is our prayer. It should not only okay, if we are, as long as we are looking at menstrual health hygiene, we should not look at Onbo alone. Probably there are some other people, other adolescent girls from other regions like Karamoja, maybe Ashore sub-region, and some other sub-regions of Uganda. But basically, the rural and parents themselves, like you're talking about, the culture, parents believe it's not their responsibility to provide some of these necessities to their children as long as they are 15, 16, and maybe according to the perception of when they see a girl giving breast, they believe it's pure, and they believe they can become convert. Because they not have a so these are really our ways of dating, like transaction sex, I mean, and also other ways. Now, let's look at the community.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences from the far north of Zombo. That's West Nile, I think. Yes, thank you very much. And I would like to invite Kifad, Uganda. Kifad, Uganda. As we wait for Kifad, Uganda, I would like to invite the speakers, Miss Mariana and Limo, to give us their parting shots as we come to a close for today. Over.
Is that over to me or over to Limo?
Over to
Limo.
you, Mariana.
Okay. I would just like to put emphasis on the importance of education, the importance of creating awareness and supporting promoting proper menstrual hygiene practices, young girls and young women out there, but also all types of women. We know that it is essential to highlight the need to break the taboos, the challenge stigma, and create a supportive environment for women and girls to manage menstruation hygienically and with dignity, so that we do away with the discrimination that we're earlier discussing. And we know that by educating both girls and boys involves having the communities take part. It involves advocating for better facilities and access to menstrual hygiene products, where we can empower women and girls to embrace menstruation as a natural process without it being associated to shame or embarrassment that is out there through the discrimination from the boys are that have a knowledge gap about this cycle that happens in the lives of women. But we also have to foster open dialogue, which through which we can provide accurate information and ensuring access to resources, which are key steps to safeguarding women's health, well-being, and their rights, really. But also, lastly, I would like to thank Wilt Hanger and the Dutch Embassy under the Right Here Right Now project. Wilt Hanger is under the Grow project for supporting this Let's Talk Menses series that are going to happen the whole of this month, every Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., just like Tracy has mentioned. And I would like to encourage everyone to let people know about this series, so that we can learn a thing or two about menstruation and break the barriers, break the stigma and the discrimination. Thank you very much, Tracy.
Thank you very much, Mariana, and I would like to request Limo to give us his parting shots. We might have Limo. We might have lost Limo, and we have about 1 minute to the end of our series today, but I would like all of you to lend us, I think, about 5 minutes so that we can hear from 1 or 2 speakers, and then we shall be able to close this space. For now, I would like to request Kenny. Kenny had asked to speak, and then we shall have the one who fought, and then we shall close this for this week.
Thank you so much, Sehat, for organizing this very important digital dialogue that is relevant for advancing the menstrual movement. Well, my name is Kenny Manuel. I work for Youth Inclusion Network Uganda, a refugee-led organization that works to address barriers towards menstrual health management systems in schools and in communities within Mvepi refugee settlement. I just want to thank you and the teams in here for coming up with this relevant initiative. However, I just wanted to put some few inputs here. One of it is issues to do with the different cultural norms within the refugee settings, more so in Mvepi. You find that these forcibly displaced people that come from different cultural perspectives. We have South Sudanese, we have Rwandans, Burundians, and equally the host Ugandans who are here. And so within these communities, there are different cultural, containments that each society upholds at. For example, in the refugee setting, there are certain, cultures that do not openly speak about menstruation. Like, it is a taboo. It is a norm that is not supposed to be, broken. And so that's why it is very important for us as stakeholders at different levels, as advocates in the menstrual movement, to come all together to ensure that at least most of these vulnerable girls are given the space through intergenerational dialogue advocacy at different levels. And with this, we will say much of these norms will be broken. And equally, speaking at the settlement level here in Mvepi, you find that due to the low levels of household income, particularly for these adolescent girls, this is because in the setting of the refugees, you find that the government of Uganda and equally UNHCR is responsible for all refugee response programming. And you find that at this stage that we're in, most of, the budgetary allocations that UNHCR, the package that UNHCR has given to this refugee population is being reduced. And more so it is affecting the adolescent girls negatively. You find that the household who is supposed to receive food rations of say 14 kilograms a month is being reduced to about 3 point something kilograms, which may not equally sustain certain households. And you find that in those households there are girls who have their unique needs. Menstruation doesn't just come as the monthly flow of blood, but it comes along with the specific needs, access to dignified, sexual and age-appropriate services is one thing that, these girls need to have access to. And equally, they need economical, empowerment such that they are able to lead their own livelihoods and equally sustain themselves within their reach to enable them ministrate with dignity. As I conclude, because I know time is always not a good ally, we say it's very important as advocates, as people in the ministerial movement space, for us to relay evidence-based advocacy in our various communities. This will inform us on what duty bearers are supposed to do, because we understand some of these are narrow to issues to do with the policy. For us at the refugee context, we we rely on evidence-based, advocacy. We are championing policies that inclusively caters for these refugees. And so, as advocates, I would say, let's not give up, and let's continue, advancing the ministerial movement. And I will be very grateful to see that as time goes on, we get to learn what each and everyone is doing in their respective districts, or else in their different, if they are refugees within this space, in their different refugee settlements. Thank you so much. Back to you, host.
Thank you very much, Kenny, for this comprehensive thoughts about menstrual hygiene. What I pick from what you've said is that addressing menstrual hygiene in Uganda truly requires a comprehensive approach that involves education, access to resources, and a culture shift. Thank you very much. And I would like to invite the one who fought to speak. And for today, that will be our last speaker. Over to you, the one.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Mulinde Joseph. I work with KIFAD. We are implementing the Grow Together project in Teso region in the districts of Katakwi and Amuria district. And one of our key outputs on the project is menstrual hygiene management and health. So with collaboration with SEHAD, my main point will be on two things. One is a male engagement in menstrual hygiene. Like many of the previous speakers have said, menstrual hygiene is still referred to as a taboo in most of our cultures, and in Teso it is something that is still believed to be not to be talked about in public. So one of the means we have devised to make this a common or a normal habit is to involve men in the management of menstrual hygiene. How are we doing this? We involve them in making the menstrual hygiene products, and also
Thank you very much, Mr. Mulenga. And I would like to thank each and everyone who has spared some time to join us and be a part of this space. We appreciate you. Please join us next Thursday as we continue to speak more about menstrual health. I would like to wish you all a good evening. And please endeavor to be counted tomorrow as a Ugandan. Enjoy your evening and the rest of the weekend.